it's definitely something that's not talked about. Like, even applying for colleges in high school, people do not tell you that it's okay to transfer. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be a little bit of a different video. It's kind of something that it's been requested, and I've gotten a lot of people kind of asking me advice when thinking about transferring colleges. So I wanted to share with you kind of my transferring story. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background about me and about the college I was at before I transferred. I'm also going to share with you why I transferred from the school that I did, and then also where I'm at now. I decided to look at schools for interior design, and that really narrows down your choices. Originally from New Jersey, and I could look in New York. There were like 2 colleges in New Jersey, and then I went all up and down the coast to kind of look at the top colleges with that major. I came across Virginia Tech, High Point University. I also looked at Parsons in New York. I looked at FIT in New York, SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design in Savannah, Virginia Tech being my top, and then High Point University ended up being a choice that I made because I was actually waitlisted at Virginia Tech, and they told me I wouldn't find out until July 9th, which is very late when going to a college because you end up going to college in like August. It got me a little bit down, and I was like, all right, well, I have to go look at other colleges. I really wanted a school that had all the different colleges and all the different majors. I didn't want to be with just art students, so that's where I narrowed down High Point University and Virginia Tech. So I got waitlisted at Virginia Tech, applied to High Point, I got in, and then I actually found out that I got into Virginia Tech like a few weeks after I had already sent in my exception deposit to High Point. So I was kind of like turned off by the idea of going to Virginia Tech. They had waitlisted me. I don't know why. Looking back now, I don't regret my decision because I learned a lot in the way that I transferred. High Point University, a little bit background on the school. It is 5,000 students. It's a private school. It's in High Point, North Carolina, and we're gonna get into it, or what at least I experienced with it. I mean, obviously it could be biased because I transferred. I actually was only there for 1 semester because I didn't like it. I understand that going into college you have to make friends, you have to adjust to your classes and everything, and yes, that's hard, but when it gets to a point where it's impossible or it feels like it's just not right, that is kind of where I found myself saying to myself, like, do I still want to be here? And it wasn't only me. The whole roommate thing did not make it or break it. I had the best roommate in the world, and that did not break my situation at all. That is not why I wanted to transfer. So we both talked about it, and we both talked about wanting to either transfer after the first semester or after the year was over, and I ended up transferring after the first semester. She transferred after the second semester. It was my roommate and my other friends were all kind of like, okay, do we want to stay here? Like, is this really where we want to stay? And that is because of a few reasons. I think for me, the size of the school, being only 5,000 students, it's very small for a college. I just felt like not being able, like, once you had that group, once you had that clique, you like couldn't get out of it. And yeah, that might be true for all schools, but it was just more true for this because there was only 5,000 students, so you are seeing the same people as you're walking around, feeling like you're trapped with the same people. So going into that brings me to kind of like the student life. The whole kind of student life of High Point was either you join a sorority or a frat, and that's your group of friends, or if you don't join, you're kind of like those odd ones out. So you kind of needed to join that to have that student life because the clubs were kind of sparse. I tried joining clubs, I tried getting out there, putting myself out there, and like every club that I went to just seemed like it was just starting out, or it was new, or didn't have a foundation. Walking you through daily life, you wake up, you go to your classes, breakfast options were the caf or Starbucks, or you can make something in your dorm, but in your dorm you can really only have a microwave. None of the dorms had kitchens, like though I lived in WOMCOM, which was the women's section, and it was just all women's, but nobody had a place to cook. So you have, on top of limited food options, you literally cannot cook for yourself. It was just like a mess. Like I know even the all boys dorm, they had a kitchen, but it didn't work. Like it was just like such an afterthought. It wasn't even a thought in where I lived. And you know, when there's a lack of food, like why not give the kids an ability to make their own? So the way High Point works is they have all girls, they have a mixed one. Do they have all boys? I can't remember, but they have all girls, which was what I was in. They have a mixed one, and then they have the kind of like higher, if you have a lot of money you can live there type things, and they're voted for like their best dorms. But to be honest, like it's just, if you have a lot of money and you can afford to live in a nice dorm, you get your own queen size bed, you get a dresser, you get kind of everything that everyone else has. But it was just like, it had granite countertops and it was really fancy. So bringing me back to like food choices and like breakfast, there really wasn't a lot of options, and if you didn't have a car, you really couldn't go anywhere because there is no town associated with High Point. When you go into High Point, you have High Point Furniture Market, and that is pretty much dead outside of High Point Furniture Market. And I've been to High Point Furniture Market as an interior design major, so I know what it's like. It's amazing, but when it's not there, it's just kind of like you have some places you can go. I know there's a great place that everyone likes to go, but if you didn't have a car, you couldn't get there. And if you didn't have friends that didn't have a car, you couldn't get there. They did have a shuttle system to Walmart and like a few other places, but it was very lacking. A little baby shuttle system, like, oh, you want to go to Walmart on Tuesdays? It's only on Tuesdays, you know. You want to go to get sushi on Wednesdays? It's only on Wednesdays, so you gotta wait the whole week to go to sushi on Wednesday. Especially for 5,000 students, there wasn't many times. I remember my friends and I like had nothing to do, so we were like, oh, let's go to the mall, catch the shuttle, and there was only like a few times that it left, and I remember us like running to the shuttle because we were like, this is what we're gonna do today, we can't miss it. Like if we don't do that, like what else are we gonna do today? Like we're literally gonna sit in our dorm and do nothing. That also brings me to like not having anything to do. When you first visit High Point, there are lots of amenities. There's like this gaming thing. They have like karaoke and skittleball and basketball and like all these like, arcade games, and it's like, okay, this is awesome. But after 2 weeks that I was there, I was like, all right, how many times are you gonna play skittleball? It's just kind of there. It's there to sell you on the idea of going to High Point. And I think a lot of the reason why I didn't like High Point was when you first visit, it's beautiful, it's amazing, and then after 2 weeks, you're like, okay, what am I doing here? There's literally nothing to do. I don't have a car. I feel trapped. The food choices are so limited. I felt like I was eating the same thing every day, and it was just like, I felt like I was repeating my day over and over again. I literally felt trapped. And not to mention, the whole campus is gated because the outer areas are extremely sketchy and you do not want to go outside of the gates. The next thing I would say is it's a private school. There's a lot of rich kids going there, and it's pretty much kids who maybe didn't have the best grades to get in, but I mean, there is a mix. There's kids that did have good grades, like I had good grades, but by no means am I rich, by no means do I have the money. So I felt like I was going there and I was surrounded by like all these people, they like mommy and daddy's money, and it just kind of felt like I was out of place. And not to like, bash those people, like if that's your life, that's your life, that's what you were born with, that's kind of how it is for you, but it wasn't like that for me. So I felt like I had no place, I was trapped, I didn't fit in, and it was just like only 5,000 students, so you really didn't have that many people to go to. And then another thing was like the life out of education, out of school, was the party life. And I know I wanted kind of that good work-life balance, the work and party, but kids, it seemed like more students cared about like going out, kind of partying, and not to mention the only parties were really just frat parties. There was also no football. There was basketball, and I do have to say the basketball games were fun. Also, I think the thing that comes with sports is the school spirit, and there really wasn't any of that. It was like, oh, you go to High Point University? Yeah, I go to High Point University. It wasn't like, oh my god, where I'm at now, it's like, go Hokies, Virginia Tech, like, this is the best school ever, like, we love our school, we're so proud to be here, you have a good reputation. So I didn't have that at High Point, and I just felt like, why am I here? Like, when I graduate and get a job, like, people are gonna be like, oh yeah, you went to High Point, I don't know what that is. I am the kind of person that really works hard with like my education and my work, and I just didn't feel like it was the place for me. I felt out of place. So I transferred to Virginia Tech and it was the best decision ever. It had everything that I wanted in a school that High Point didn't have. So I knew that I was at the right place when I got here. So it was a big change. I went from 5,000 students to like 30,000 students. Crazy change, but the best thing was that I transferred interior design and I did the summer studio. So I got kind of like a nice transition between 5,000 students to only a few students over the summer to like the 30,000. So I got to kind of get familiar with the town, familiar with the area, familiar with my classes, places I had to go, and that was really helpful. But moving into the school year, so what I love about Virginia Tech that High Point didn't have, which can be like a million things, but to kind of spell them out for you, it is attached to a town, which is awesome. So when I lived on campus during my summer studio, I got to walk to tons of different places to eat. They had stores, you pretty much can do a lot of things. They had, you know, the theater, and just like anything that you can do. So if you do have friends, you can go do things. I think at High Point, if you did have friends, like, there was nothing to do. So yeah, they have a great bus system. So if you want to get somewhere, you have an app on your phone, you just pull out your phone and you're like, okay, the bus is going to come at this time. This is when I need to take it to get here. It shows you maps. It's just so easy. So bus system, I really, really appreciated. You do not need a car at Virginia Tech. Also ride your bike. They have like paths to ride your bike on. Another thing is the sports. They have a great team spirit here, and something that I didn't get at High Point was like loving the school that you're at, and having that pride is so important, especially to me. I didn't have it in high school, so you know, people are excited to be Hokies. They're excited to be here. They are at Virginia Tech. This is their school. This is what makes them them. It's so important to have that, and I think the sports kind of makes it even more like that, because when you go to these games, it is just amazing. Every time I go to a game, I've been here for like 2 years now, but every time I go to the game and they play Enter Sandman, and they start jumping and everything, it's so overwhelmingly exciting to me and happy to me. Like, I almost want to cry, because it's just like this is where I'm at. Like, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is where I'm meant to be. And, you know, this is Virginia Tech. This is where I want to be. So at High Point, comparing to Virginia Tech, I mean, it's such a more developed school, and they do have a housing crisis, but living off campus is probably the best thing that I could have done. I love being independent. I love being able to cook for myself. I make like a lot of recipes and everything. Like, that's something I love to do. It's something I couldn't do at High Point because of the lack of, you know, amenities and stuff. So having that kind of, you know, I have a queen size bed, but I'm only paying $350 a month. Whereas High Point, it's like insane. Yeah, so I think where I am now, and I also love my major. I love the school that I'm in. I'm in interior design, and they are the top 5 in the country. So it's really amazing to be here and to have great professors, a great major. I think for someone who feels like they do want to transfer, I just knew in my gut that I had to transfer. I just knew it. I think my turning point for knowing that I wanted to transfer was going home for Thanksgiving break, talking to my parents about it. I came home Thanksgiving break and I just went into my parents' room and I just started bawling, just started crying, because I knew I wasn't in the right place, and I knew it was going to be a whole journey to going to a new place and, you know, applying to colleges again, and moving all my stuff back home. What I ended up doing was I came home from High Point. I went back from North Carolina to New Jersey. I got all my stuff back into my house. I ended up working and just getting myself together, doing community college classes, because you can't transfer into Virginia Tech in the spring semester. You can only do it in the fall. So and then I transferred to Virginia Tech summer program, and then went into my second year as an interior design major in the fall. So I actually ended up taking 1 semester at High Point, 1 semester at community college, and then now I'm at Virginia Tech, and I've been at Virginia Tech for about 3 semesters, and it's been amazing. I'm in my first semester of my junior year, and it's literally been amazing. So if you guys have any, I know I rambled a lot. I'm gonna try to organize this video into like different sections, even though I was kind of all over the place. It's been a long journey, but if you know in your heart that it's not the right place for you and you want to leave, by all means do it. Transferring can be a really great thing. It's definitely something that's not talked about. Like, even applying for colleges in high school, people do not tell you that it's okay to transfer. It's okay to make the wrong choice. Nobody gives you a booklet on how to go to college, what college is right for you. Once you figure it out and you make the change, it literally can be life-changing. So I'm happy to say that where I'm at now, I've made amazing lifelong friends. Everyone is just amazing, and my classes are amazing, the school life is amazing. So I'm just so happy I made the switch. So if you guys are thinking about transferring and I didn't answer any of your questions, but you do want a answer, definitely comment down below, because I'm sure I can help you out in some way or another. If you want more videos on transferring, like, let me know. I don't know how else I could split this up, but if you have any ideas, let me know in the comments below. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a little bit different than what I usually do, but I hope you guys enjoyed. So I'll see you in my next video.